Hello and welcome to Coco Styling. To me, styling is the art of aligning the mental image you have of yourself with your physical appearance. It helps accentuate your natural beauty by highlighting the best parts of your appearance. Body shapes and body types are different, but we are going to talk about body shapes first. There are 5 basic body shapes: inverted triangle, rectangle, apple, pear, and hourglass. Adults are usually 7 to 8 heads long. Fashion designers tend to draw their fashion figurines 9 heads long or even taller than that. And that's what they look for on runway models. Runway models look so tall because their proportions are 8 to 9 heads long. What image consultants try to do is to elongate the figure of their client to make them look taller and more proportionate. To do this, our keyword is volume. We're going to add volume where they need it and make their body look more balanced. To know your body shape, you need to do 2 things. The first one is to take the measurements of your shoulders, bust, waist, and hips. After you do this, you need to look at your proportions and their visual weight. What I mean with this is what looks bigger: your shoulders, your bust, your hips, or your waist. Keep both things in hand as we go through the list, or in case you know yours already, you can skip to the styling recommendations for your body. Also, keep in mind that you might be a combination of 2 of the body shapes, so don't worry if you don't feel like you fit completely into one category. For example, we have Jasmine Kendrick. She is a pear by measurements, but her upper body fits the inverted triangle description. If you're like her, you should style your upper body with the recommendations for an inverted triangle and your lower half like a pear. My other example measurements are 85 bust, 68 waist, and 100 on her hips. That would be approximately 33, 26, and 39 inches. As you can see by measurements, she's a pear, but her body looks like an hourglass. If you're like her, you can use either styling tips, but you have to keep in mind you shouldn't apply too much volume to the hips. Before I start giving advice to each body type, you need to know that these rules are not strict, and you should wear what you love to wear. Rules can be banned, but it's useful to know them before you break them. And also remember that what matters most is confidence. Anyone can pull off anything if they're confident about it. You are an inverted triangle if your waist is not very defined and it's smaller than your bust. Your shoulders are broader than your hips, and you're kind of athletic looking, and usually they have very elongated legs. Here we have a few examples of this body shape, like Naomi Campbell and Jasmine Kendrick. How do you style an inverted triangle? Since most of your volume is on the upper half of your body, we should add things that make your lower half look kind of balanced with the upper half. To do this, you should avoid lines that focus on your shoulders, and using draped fabrics like cotton and silk can help round your shoulders a little bit. Inverted triangles' waists are not very defined, so what we're going to do is to bring attention to the waist and create the illusion of having a defined waistline, with details like belts and embellishments. With necklines, we're going to try to make your upper half a little bit more rounded and try to remove the attention of your shoulders. To do this, I recommend not wearing square necklines. Some of the best necklines for you are the V necklines, U-necks, asymmetric tops, and halter necks. They help softening the lines of your shoulders, since inverted triangles' shoulders tend to be very blunt. With sleeves, we want something soft on the upper part. The best styles for this are short and fitted sleeves, loose sleeves, wide cuts, drop shoulders, and raglan tops. Other types of tops that look great on inverted triangles are peplum tops, fitted shirts, and wrap shirts. Wrap shirts are especially great because they help creating the illusion of a waistline without having to get another piece like a belt. With knitwear, coats, and jackets, I recommend avoiding neck and shoulder details that bring attention to your upper half. You should look for pieces that have hip details. They should be long and fitted. You can wear waterfall cuts, and the best styles are belted styles. Something else to keep in mind is that for this body shape, it's better to wear single-breasted coats instead of double-breasted coats because that adds volume to your upper half. With shorts and trousers, I recommend you avoid skinny jeans because that makes you look a bit more like an inverted triangle. What we want to do is to add more volume to your lower half. This means that the best styles for you are the ones that hug your waist and are a little bit loose on the lower part. For example, flared pants, culottes, palazzo, harem pants, and baggy or wide pants. Now, with skirts, we want the same thing we wanted with trousers. We want something that hugs your waist and is wider on the lower part. This means you should avoid really tight skirts. And it's also better to wear flared skirts, pleated skirts. A-line skirts are really good if you wanted to wear something that hugs your body and it also creates volume at the same time. Choosing a dress is really easy. You just have to pair the recommendations for the necklines and the skirts. This means you should choose something that's a little bit tighter on the upper half and loose or wide on the skirt. Apple. You're an apple if your shoulders and bust are broader than your hips. You have a very wide ribcage and your waist doesn't appear to be smaller than your bust. The difference between the inverted triangle and the apple is the waist. The waist of an inverted triangle is smaller than the bust, but the waist of an apple might be smaller, but it's gonna look very similar. The other difference is the shoulders. The shoulders of an inverted triangle are usually very blunt, and the apple's shoulders are very rounded. Apples also have very narrow hips, and they usually gain weight on their stomachs. A lot of body shape articles tend to group all plus-sized people under the apple category, but that is not correct. Apples, like any other body shape, can be any sized, and there are also teen apples. Here we have a few examples like Tyra Banks, Queen Latifah, and Amber Riley. All of them are apples, but they are also different sized. How do you style an apple? With apples, what we need to do is to add volume to our lower half. You should wear soft fabrics like silk and soft cotton. Using these types of fabric help avoid bulk around the upper and midsection because that's gonna make your upper half look bigger. Hemline details give volume and attention to the legs, so it's a good idea to get pieces that have that kind of designs. With necklines, I recommend you avoid high and narrow collars because they give the illusion that your upper half is bigger. Try to wear deep and wide necklines like the Sweetheart neckline, scoop, square, and strapless necklines. You should avoid really tight sleeves. The best options for this shape are flared, cap, slit, cuffed, and draped sleeves. Other types of tops I would recommend you wearing are flowy tops, long wraps, tunics, swings, trapeze shirts, and flowy crop tops. When wearing knitwear coats and jackets, I would avoid tight fits and double-breasted designs because that will make your upper half look bigger instead of giving volume to your lower half. Some really good options are draped and loose styles, simple styles that do not clutter your figure, loose jumpers, fitted jackets, waterfall cuts, A-lines, and empire cuts. With shorts and trousers, I would advise wearing flared mid-rise cuts, straight pants, boot cuts, flowy and wide pants. Those tend to be very flattering for this body shape. With skirts, really good options are empire cuts and the really high cuts, A-lines, slip skirts, and full skirts. With dresses, the only thing you have to do is to pair necklines and the skirt recommendations. Also keeping in mind, you should avoid fitted hemlines that make you look really boxy. Straight cuts, flowy dresses, empire wraps, and slip dresses are really good. Empire cuts look great on this body shape because they usually gain weight on their tummy area. and sometimes this might make their waistline disappear. It's better to bring the waistline below their bust to make them look taller and reduce the attention to their stomachs. Rectangle. You are one if your shoulder and bust measurements are very similar. Your waist size is also very similar to your other measurements, and you carry your weight very evenly. How do you style a rectangle? Since you're already pretty balanced, what we try to do is to add a little bit of volume to your bust and your hips. We also try to define a waistline with belts and embellishments. With necklines, you should avoid square necklines because they make you look boxy. You should wear round necklines, off-shoulder tops, bata or boat necklines, also sweethearts and V-necks. You can wear pretty much any kind of sleeve with this body shape, but the best are loose, wide and embellished sleeves. The puffed ones and cuffed ones, they're really good because they give more volume to your body. Some good options for tops are belted tops, all kinds of ruffle tops, button down, and wrapped tops. When wearing knitwear, coats and jackets, you should avoid plain designs if you want to give more volume to your body. It's okay if you don't want to, but some recommendations if you do want to add volume would be to wear long tailored and belted designs. Double-breasted styles are great for this body shape. If you want to keep your straight figure, you can wear dusters and straight cuts. For shorts and trousers, you can also wear pretty much anything, but some good options are white pants, slim fit, skinny jeans, pattern designs, loose styles, and bootcut styles. With skirts, it's also the same thing. You can wear pretty much anything you want. You can wear full, maxi, layered, pencil, and long designs in case you want to add volume to your lower half. With dresses, you just have to pair the recommendations for necklines and skirts. The best recommendation would be to pick something with a defined waist. Shift, empire, and wrapped dresses are really good options. You're a pear if you have very full hips and or a full bottom. Your shoulders are narrower in comparison to the rest of your body. Pears usually have a small bust and a very defined waist because of their full hips. Here we have a few examples of pears like Doja Cat, Beyonce, and Ducky. How do you style a pear? You need to add volume to your upper half and bring attention to your shoulders to balance your upper and lower halves. You can do this with volume, colors, textures, patterns, and details like ruffles and accessories. For necklines, I would advise to wear white colors, embellishments, off-shoulder tops, square necklines, bato or boat necklines, and also cowl tops. Since your shoulders are pretty rounded, I would advise you to wear structured shoulder tops with tapered sleeves. Short puff and cap sleeves are great for your body because you want to add volume to the upper half and not the lower half. So flares wouldn't be a great option if they go below the elbow. You should avoid hip details on your tops because those details bring more attention to your hips. I would advise you to wear designs with bust and shoulder details, crop tops, wrap designs, tops with ruffles on them, and tops with patterns on them are really good for this body shape. For knitwear, coats, and jackets, I would also advise you to avoid hip details and designs that have unstructured shoulders. You can try wearing pieces with bust and shoulder details, crop jackets, long coats, princess, and A-line cuts that start from your waist. With shorts and trousers, I would advise you to avoid low-rise cuts with hip details, also tapered and skinny fit jeans. Some very good options are high-rise pants with boot cuts, flared bottoms, straight cuts, and wide-legged pants. When choosing skirts, I would avoid tapered styles like pencil skirts because they hug your hips and it makes them look bigger. If you want to wear something that hugs your figure while giving it volume in the right places, I would advise you to wear A-line skirts, also flared skirts, paneled and slip skirts. With dresses, all you need to do is pair the recommendations for necklines and skirts. I would advise you to avoid straight cuts because they make you look boxy. Also dropped waistlines, like those garments that have a waistline below the hip. Wrap dresses and tulip dresses look great on pears. Hourglass. You're an hourglass if your bust and hip measurements are very similar. Usually the difference is less than 1.5 inches or 4 centimeters. You have a very feminine figure with rounded legs, bust and shoulders. How to style an hourglass? I would use fabrics that flow on your body and that will also accentuate your curves. You should be careful when wearing baggy and shapeless clothes because they can make you look boxy. If you want to wear something baggy, I would pair it with a belt and that will define your waist. Your body is already pretty balanced, however, that does not mean that you have to always be wearing minimalist clothes. You can wear volume on your upper half as long as you do the same with your lower half. You can wear pretty much any neckline you want, but really good options are V-necks, deep plunges, off-shoulder tops, sweetheart, square and scoop necklines. I would advise you to avoid wearing long wide sleeves, but if you want to wear that, I would pair it with a neckline that adds volume to your upper part. Fitted sleeves, 3/4 sleeves, bishops, and satin sleeves help maintain the balance of your body. With knitwear, coats and jackets, I would avoid straight cuts that make you look boxy, and I would try to wear something fitted and belted. You can wear pretty much any kind of shorts and trousers, but high-rise and waist-high styles are really good. Some other good examples are wide legs, bootcut, flared bottoms, straight and slim fit. For skirts, the best options are A-lines and full skirts because they accentuate your shape regardless of length. For dresses, all you have to do is pair the recommendations for necklines and skirts. Something else to keep in mind is when adding volume, you should do it both on your upper half and your lower half. Some good styles are wrap dresses, slip dresses, pendulum top dresses, and pretty much anything with a waist emphasis. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment them down below or DM me on Instagram. I will try to answer as fast as I can or make a video about it in case you also want to suggest video topics.